Trevor?
Just hanging out. Looking forward to discussing what we've got going on for Summer Wells.
Absolutely, man. And, I have an article here, Trevor, man. I got to give so much props and kudos to you. There's an article here that was just put out, and you were standing outside the NASCAR race in Bristol, Tennessee over the weekend,
Hmm.
holding pictures of Summer Wells. Can you talk about this? Like, what got you to do this? I mean, it's just because I just want to say first that you've been covering Summer Wells from the beginning, Trevor. You literally donated your own money. You have been constantly, and I'm in some chats with you. You've been constantly bringing awareness to her situation, and you genuinely care. And I'm just, kudos to you, dude. What was this all about?
Well, thank you. So in Bristol, the NASCAR race was in for the weekend, Friday and Saturday, and it brings thousands of people in from out of the area. And while a lot of people in Northeast Tennessee know about Summer Wells, people from out of the area don't. And so it was a perfect opportunity to just get the word out, engage with people, share her flyer, her story to people that didn't know, and so they could take home flyers to where they're from and share her story and keep it alive.
Yeah, and I saw one of these photos here, like a guy, you're talking to a guy there. So people would what just come up to you and were people familiar with Summer Wells or some not? Or what was the vibe there?
So people locally were familiar, but a lot of people from out of the area weren't. And that's funny that she was able to get that because that picture, because it almost looked like something set up. But I was over there, and that guy came up and said, "What are you guys doing?" And I was able to sit and tell him about Summer Wells, and he took some flyers and started. He went home with them and handed them out, and it was good. And so we had a lot of people come up and just ask, what is this about? And they scanned the QR code and went to the TBI page. They took some flyers, and we just engaged and talked about the case.
And how long were you out there for?
So I was out there from about 11 to 6 on Friday, and then the same on Saturday. Few different places, but that was the place I was in the most.
When you say we, were you with other people too doing it?
No, it was just me that day.
Just you, Trevor. How far is that from you?
It's about 20 minutes.
Okay, so you took the time to go out there and do that. Um, so a lot of locals around there know Summer Wells, right? Is there some locals that don't know about Summer Wells?
Unfortunately, I have talked to people
Really?
who in the area even don't. I think there's just kind of a fatigue with how stagnant the case has been. People kind of just move on.
Yeah, that's sad because I tweeted out earlier tonight. I was like, Summer Wells is the longest active Amber Alert in this country right now, and we're talking about June 15th, 2021,
Yeah.
over 2 years, and still no answers. Still no answers, Trev. And like I saw you put something else in the group chat. So you plan to go to more locations.
I do. So that was such a success that I just felt why not get some more things put together. And I have a list here of places next month that I want to hit. So Country Thunder is coming to Bristol, which is a huge country music concert. Eric Church, Jelly Roll, a lot of people are familiar with them. They'll be here, so it brings in a lot of people. So we'll be hitting that, and then we'll be hitting the Farmers Market in Johnson City and Greenville. A lot of people come out to that, and then a huge shopping center in Bristol as well. And then we've got some other places we're working on. I've been in contact with the local airport, and it looks like we're going to be able to hand out some flyers there. So trying to hit
Oh
a lot of
wow.
places, get the word out.
What local airport is that?
That Tri Cities Airport, it covers all of Northeast Tennessee.
Wow. Yeah. And putting the flyers out there and one thing, Trevor, you're doing it. Where's Don and Candace Wells? Because I don't see them doing anything to try to find their own daughter. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see much. I know Candace was out at that event the other day, but besides that, I haven't seen much, and it's sad because you want to see the parents helping. Nobody wants to see the parents not. As much as we suspect or are suspicious of them, it sucks to not see them fighting for their own child.
When you said you saw her at the NASCAR event?
No, they had a booth in Baileyton. I wasn't at that, but there were a
What kind
couple
of
of
booth?
pictures there. Missing. They did missing child booth at the Bailey 10 Days.
Oh, so they were out there bringing awareness to summer. They were out there bringing awareness to summer with a missing person booth.
There was a booth up, and they went. I'm not sure how much and how involved they were, but they were there.
Interesting. It's interesting. So why are you spending all your time trying to find summer? What drives you to do this?
Well, from the beginning, I feel like God just laid it on my heart to get involved in whatever way I could. At the beginning, I went down to the command center and asked, if I could help search, and nobody in the public was allowed to search, so they said no. Of course, I was okay. What can I do? Started with the reward fund, went to flyers, and nobody knew the case would go this long, but it has, and so I just feel like at this point we can't give up. Just got to keep fighting.
Yeah, and how much money did you donate of your own money?
2,000.
$2,000. Is that still standing?
No, that went into the main reward fund that they sent to the court and sent back out to the advocacy center.
Interesting. So I mean, how much longer do you plan to bring awareness to summer's situation?
Until she's found and justice is served. There's no giving up.
So you don't have like fatigue at all, like we were just discussing. Other people have fatigue out there, or it's just they're starting to forget. You're just gonna keep doing it.
I feel that's the only way. She needs a voice, and we all need to be her voice. And if we give up on her, she doesn't have that voice, and she matters, and she mattered that on June 15th, and she matters today.
So what's your take by you covering this case over 2 years? What do you think happened? What's your gut telling you?
I don't know. I go back and forth. I can't shake the oddness in the stories of Don and Candace. Nobody wants to believe parents are involved, but it's hard not to in this case, honestly. And
Yeah, we're just
I heard all the interviews, the stories. We've heard people talk for 2 years now about it, and just I can't shake that they know more than they say.
yeah, and they again, I follow the case in spurts, right? So I'm kind of guilty of the fatigue, like you discussed. I've covered this case, and then I focus on other cases, but I always come back because it's still unsolved. But what are the parents up to these days?
I mean, it's just same old. The YouTube appearances seems like they just go on, but it doesn't seem they want to talk about summer all the time.
And do they still have the media manager that works with them, Tim Mullen?
They do.
And have you communicated with them, try to work with them? Have you tried to reach out to the parents lately? I know you've had conversations with Don before, and I think like it didn't go well because you thought that Don wasn't doing anything to help Summer or playing games. Have you spoke to them lately?
I haven't, but they're welcome to. I mean, it's their child, so any of these events, I would be happy to have them come out and do things. This is not a me versus them or them versus anybody. It's for Summer. It's 100%. That's all that matters to me is Summer being found and justice. So whatever that
Yeah.
takes.
I've seen you take like the forefront in that area. Like you pretty much like not only that, but your social media presence on Summer Wells. Like you have a YouTube channel, right?
I do.
And it's centered around Summer Wells. Like you talk about the Summer Wells case continuously on this channel, right?
Definitely.
How do people find you?
My channel is just Trev Time, and we just discuss the case. Like to usually just we go over whether it's interviews or a certain aspect of the case, and we just discuss. Bring opinions together.
And you've actually communicated with TBI at different times, didn't you?
I did, especially early on. Just sent emails inquiring on certain things, especially because publicly there's a lot of speculation and confusion because of how little they can put out. So I have asked questions, and they can't always answer questions, but they've always been good about communicating.
So that's like a level of respect. They know who you are, and they know you're out there trying to bring awareness. So they do respond in a sense to you.
I would like to think
Because,
so. And I've since the
no,
beginning.
I've seen them respond to you.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
They used to respond to me. I haven't been, Leslie, TBI Leslie used to respond to my tweets. I haven't even tagged her lately on any questions. It's just with Don and Candace, man, my take is, hopping states, trying to find work and just involved with this online drama and shenanigans. And, they don't want to correct themselves. They don't want to correct their own behaviors. They whine and play and blame everyone else, but don't accept the responsibility on their own end. I haven't seen anything that they've done to even warrant having their three boys that were taken away back. Um, in the YouTube streets, and they've let it been known that in order to get them back, they had to clean up, fix their house up. I haven't seen anything, no steps for that, and then they crime and blame the system. They had the audacity, Don, to say that blaming DCS for kidnapping his children.
It's a shame. There's just such a lack of accountability, and that's it's constant and it goes over and over again. And when you don't have accountability, you don't find fault in anything you do. We all do things wrong to different levels and extents, but it's finding that you can stop and acknowledge that you're wrong, and I just don't see them doing that.
So what do you think? Like, where do you see Don and Candace Wells 6 months from now? Are they trying to get sympathy through the media? Are they going? Do they feel like? What are they going to do? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I would like to see them, put aside what they think about all these things and fight for summer, but I just I can't hold my breath for that with what we've seen over the past 2 years.
Yeah. How old are you?
21.
Yeah, you're young. You're young. Look, 21 years old out there trying to find Summer Wells and spending your time and your resources. Like when you hold up these flyers and print out things, I mean, is that coming from your own budget?
Yeah, some of these are ours I've had, and I mean, and people have gave me a few banners, but yeah, none of that bothers me. It's just about if I can, and God has made it where I can. I just want to keep doing that to do that for her.
Are you looking for help? Are you looking for people to stand out there with you or help you contribute with supplies or anything?
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to put out the October schedule as I did ahead of time because so people can show up if they want or reach out. They can shoot me an email on my channel and just or just show up. But if they want to help at all, they can reach out and let me know. The more, the better.
Yeah, I'm sure they would because you're so committed to it and you're there and and it's we chat, we're in chats and we talk and what you're whenever there's some more other like missing child or some sort of report of a body in Tennessee, you're like on it. Like you are like you're thinking it could be Summer, and trying to find out details about, remains being found and different, children being missing in the same general area. I mean, you are on it at all times. Like you're 24/7 watching this case.
Definitely. I mean, it's like I said, it just feels like from the beginning I've been uh, I've had this pull to just help as I can, and now we're so far into it. Just got to keep going, and whatever comes up, those reports and body found or whatever it is, look into it, try to see if I can either dispel a rumor or see if something's going on, and keep pushing forward and trying to find Summer.
Is Don and Candace Wells back at their home on Ben Hill?
By their by the way they talk online, I assume so. I don't know for sure, but
What's up with the picture the other day with them standing with Eric Estrada from Chips Patrol? Was he
yeah,
from Chips Patrol, Eric Estrada?
yeah, that was at that booth that I was talking about, the Baileyton days.
Did Eric Estrada know who they are?
I don't know. I was surprised by the picture.
I saw the pic and I'm like, I actually just go check out my Twitter right now. I just shared it and I tagged Eric Estrada and I said, dude, you know who you took a picture with? Don Wells, 40-year criminal history, including arrest for stealing panties out of a woman's garage, burglaries, domestic violence, and beating his wife. And Candace had her children taken away and put a shotgun to the head of CPS in Wisconsin, and her nonsense, along with the boys being taken away and Summer Wells being missing. Do you know who you took a picture with?
Not to mention the things Don's admitted to doing to his stepsisters.
Yeah, yeah. Like, but you think there's ever going to be accountability on that aspect?
In the Utah portion,
Yeah, in Utah.
I'm not sure. I know there was some weird the red tape with statutes limitation, and if the law grandfathers in the case, it's I'm not sure with that. I don't know as much about those proceedings, but I would hope so. I mean, every victim deserves justice.
Absolutely. Now, do you, in the course of you supporting Summer, do you get harassed, or does people on maybe feeling like they don't like what you're doing? Do people threaten you? Do you get email threats or phone calls or harassed at all in any way by doing this?
I mean, online, I get my fair share. People, I mean, we all have an opinion, and if some people don't like somebody's opinion, they go after you. People have tried to imply that I took Summer, or so that I'm too
Really?
too young to be involved in this case, things like that.
They would have the audacity to say you took Summer. That's wild. What do you do? Just like ignore the trolls, or do you respond? Or you?
I mean, I just laugh it off. I mean, like, people say that I'm too young. I'm like, it is what it is. You can say that, but just come join me. Come out there and hold a fire with me. We can offset the age. I mean, like, I'm just trying to help. You come after me, whatever. I'm not. My efforts aren't perfect, but I'm trying.
And I mean, even if Don and Candace Wells, like you just said, if they wanted to come to you and help, they can.
Absolutely, I'd hand them a banner. It's like I said, it's their child, and I mean, we have our suspicions of them, as I very much do. But I'd rather see them out there holding a banner, at least look like at least trying to help, than to be on YouTube screaming and trashing people like they do.
Including me. They trash me hard, Trevor.
Oh yeah,
I get harassed by the Don and Candace Wells people all the time, but covering this case too. Uh, yeah, yeah. Um, it's wild. Trust me, it's wild. I get all kinds of crazy anonymous people make videos about me, and it goes with the territory when I feel like, we're on the good side here, and it's at the end of the day, how old would Summer be now? She's 7?
yeah, 7 years old.
7 years old. Um, in reference to the Wells and their boys, right? The boys got taken away. Do you feel the boys should be back in their custody?
Personally, I don't. I don't. I mean, the fact that they haven't been cleared in the disappearance of their daughter, and it's going to come down to the court to decide, and they haven't been sent back yet. But in my personal opinion, it just doesn't feel right. They haven't even been cleared in the disappearance of their daughter, of their other child.
What's the status about that? About the boys? How's that progressing?
That stuff is all sealed, but Don comes out and talks about it. It seems that it's still open. Like, the way he talks about it, seems that they're still working to get them back.
Wow. And then there also was an incident about a month ago with the judge there, the judge handling their child case, the getting in trouble with the law.
Yeah, he had some fraud, some bribery stuff that went on, and he was charged. TBI investigated him, and he was charged with that.
So what's that mean? Their custody case goes in the hands of a new judge, then obviously, right?
Yeah, so they'll likely, the way I was told, at least in other areas, if a judge is removed or steps down or anything, they have an emergency judge in from a nearby county for the same position as juvenile judge, and then they'll eventually appoint a permanent. That judge will see all cases in that county.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the judge uses logic, does the right thing. There's been some instances around this country where these agencies put the children back in the hands of the parents, and then something bad happens.
Right. And we
You
know
know, and
it failed. I mean, we see it in other cases. The system has definitely failed. So I just hope that they make the right decision here.
I think they have thus far. I think I think the spotlight is on them.
Mhm.
This is as much as you said that some people don't know Summer, a lot of people do.
Definitely. The world is watching. That's one thing that's true. They're watching Hawkins County. They're watching law enforcement. I mean, there's a lot of eyes on this case that haven't dissipated, and they won't. So, and they know that. So, each decision comes with a lot of public eye.
Do you feel that Don, not fear or feel that Don and Candace Wells will permanently leave the state of Tennessee?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, it was talked about them possibly selling their house, and We know they went to Arkansas for a little bit.
Yeah, they did went down there. They went down to Springdale. Don Wells has ties there. I was all around that area. Uh, bringing awareness to summer myself. I did that a few months back. Um, they were staying in that hotel. Apparently, Don wasn't working, or he lied and he had to be sent back. And he was on probation, and big thing now. And didn't they go to Virginia for a while too?
So I had heard. I think at least maybe working there.
Yeah. So how, like, when you see, like, okay, so when I go on to, sometimes their Facebook page, Find Summer Wells. I guess that's run by Tim Mullen or Wells, both of them. Does Wells run that at all, or is it just Tim?
I think it's just him
But they do have a lot of support. Like, I do see people he erases comments
all the
that
time.
are negative. Well, so sometimes you'll see there and it'll say 20 comments, and you go on to it and there's one comment because they've all been erased. But they seem like they get a lot of hearts and likes. I mean, what's your thoughts on people that believe that Don and Candace Wells are angels, or have nothing to do with their, the disappearance of the daughter? I think they have everything to do with the disappearance of the daughter. I don't know how you feel. Um, but what's your thoughts about, supporters of them, or people out there that think, they're angels or innocent?
Yeah. So I think it's one thing to have a theory. Everything is technically still on the table. So if people think she was abducted or such, is one thing, but to just ignore all of their behavior and tell me that they're great people or great parents just seems asinine to me. I mean, their kids were taken. That's something right in front of us to tell us that there was something wrong with their fitness to parent, and we know their past as human beings. So you can't tell me that their characters is much. So personally, I mean, I just can't fathom the idea that they're great people, and some people do portray them as that.
I don't want to say names of creators, but it seems like Candace kind of jumps on a couple creators' channels, and people throw money at her.
Hmm.
And I'm shocked to see that. I don't know why do the people do that?
Yeah, it blows my mind. I mean, if you're gonna send money, buy some flyers. Put some flyers out.
Yes. A billboard,
Yeah,
advertisements. People could put this, logos on their vehicles.
yeah,
Go mailbox to mailbox around there, because at the end of the day, Pruitt, Detective John Pruitt, the leading detective, is he still the leading detective?
yeah. So for Hawkins County, he's the lead detective on Summer's case.
At the end of the day, I mean, he gave an interview probably about a year ago, and he said, when it comes down to it, he believes that Summer is real close to that home.
Hmm.
I really think Summer Wells is somewhere between Ben Hill and where Don Wells worked, or his job site, which was 20 miles away down there in what's it called, Johnson, or where was he working that day? To the
Jones,
south. I'm sorry.
Jonesboro, right?
Yeah, Jonesboro. That's it. Jonesboro. Just outside Jonesboro, the development there, all those back roads to get there. Do you believe Don Wells was working that day, that afternoon, when Summer went missing?
I definitely believe he was at work that day, but I don't know that he was there all day. Something just tells me he wasn't.
Yeah, because I never really seen proof besides him saying it.
Right.
He claims he was at work, and he claims he had multiple alibis, but none of these people would really come out on the record and say anything.
Right.
It,
My if he didn't stay there all day, he left and came back, because the 911 call is going to be marked wherever you call from. So
Mhm.
if you did call from Washington County, they would know, but that doesn't mean you were there all day.
And I said that about the 911 call because he claims in the interviews that, he called while he was at his job stop, put the tools in the truck, or put the tools in the car. What did he have, the truck or the car there? Did he have the Subaru?
Apparently,
Yeah, put the tools in the vehicle, we'll just say vehicle, and then raced home. I heard that in multiple interviews. I heard it on Dr. Phil. I heard it to a local reporter. But he said he called 911, and I'm thinking, you pick up and call 911 from down there in that community. It's a different county.
Yeah.
It's not Hawkins County. It's Washington County. So what I did back in the day, and my memory's kind of scattered a little bit on this because again, you forget things as it goes on. I do. But I called and did a public records request in Washington County for that 911 call that day that Don says he made at his job site. And they had no record. Because if he picked up and called 911 from the job site, it's not going to go to Hawkins County. It's going to go to Washington County, and then they might connect him to Hawkins County. No record whatsoever in Washington County of any 911 call.
Right. See, and I don't know how that works, is because I know he would be transferred over. I don't know if they would still have that record of him initially calling, or if they would only have it in Hawkins where they transferred him to. I'm not sure.
And we know Hawkins is not releasing any details in reference to this call, and we don't know if there was calls or one call, right?
Right. And see, the news even tried to get that call, and they said they couldn't because of an active investigation.
Yeah, it would be so interesting to know who made that real call. Was it Candace or Don or both?
Well, I think there's a reason why it's still sealed, and I think it has to do with the investigation, which then points to, somebody who was there at the house, in my opinion.
My concern with this case, Trev, is that as time goes, and if Summer is found, say her body's found, then there's some accountability that they might try to, instead of being charged with something, whoever, we'll just assume the parents, instead of being charged with something serious like first degree MUR, they'd try to say, well, she was died from other reasons and they just moved the body and been charged with something more minor like abusing a corpse or something. Not, I mean, even though it's serious, but not as serious as a life sentence. That's my thought over time, what's your take? Like, you think she should be found 10 years from now, 5 years from now, or you think it's coming?
I think it's coming. I hope and pray it's coming. I know that there are a lot of people that won't give up till it happens, till she's found. And I mean, we pray she's still alive. I pray it's a rescue, but if it is recovery, then I pray that she's found and the right steps are taken to have justice, and she can be, if she is deceased, laid to rest and such, because she matters. In this case, that's what matters. It's her, nobody else.
So I'm putting you on the spot. You think there was a kidnapping?
I do not.
Me neither. Do you think Don and Candace Wells are involved?
Personally, I do.
Me too. I concur. No neighbors involved?
No, I don't believe it's I don't believe it's deep. And this is 100% just my opinion, but I don't think it's deep. I think, unfortunately, something happened that day involving them, and that was it.
What about Grandma Grandis?
I'm very suspicious of her. Out of all three, she's the one who left and has been silent since. And regardless of her involvement, it takes some kind of person to go silent when your grandchild needs you the loudest.
Absolutely. And where is she? Do you know? Does anyone know?
No idea. She went basically off the grid, which is fine that people don't know where she is, but it's not fine that she went silent on Summer. Where is she? Where is putting up flyers? Where are her news interviews? What is going on?
My intel tells me she was or is in McDonough, Georgia, in that area. Why she chose Georgia, I don't know. Like I literally have had proof, but I don't know if she's there now.
Right.
She could be anywhere. She has that trailer. But yeah, I also think she's the key. She's the key of really knowing what. But her silence is very telling.
100%. It's deafening. Like I said, even if she wasn't involved, why is she when Summer needs her. That's what makes me go, what do you know? Did she know something and run off? I mean, what? I mean, makes you wonder. And if Candace is involved, then I think Grandis has to know. It's hard to see a scenario where Candace would be involved and Grandis was there all day and just doesn't know.
I wonder what Grandis really feels, how she really feels about Don Wells. Think she's scared of him? There was domestic calls to that house on Ben Hill in the past
Definitely.
between Grandma and Don fighting before Summer went missing. So they had their domestic issues when Grandis eventually moved there after selling, I guess, her home in Grantsburg when she was up there. But her silence to me is like it helps her. I think her being silent helps her more than Don and Candace Wells being on YouTube, because she's not getting that much of that online, backlash because she's not even online.
Right. I mean, yeah, she's not making things worse for herself as far as, making comments or, telling stories or going after people or collecting money or anything like that. But her silence is deafening on its own as far as not advocating for Summer. I mean, she's been, her daughter's missing. She knows what it's like. You can't tell me she's not been to this rodeo before. Rose is missing with no answers. She knows what this is like. And why is she not standing up for Summer?
But don't you think it's odd that she got two people in her own family and are still missing?
Without a trace, right?
It's just so strange. Like, what are the odds?
I mean,
What are the odds of that?
has to
Her
be,
own daughter and her granddaughter
yeah.
missing in two different states, from two different states. And it just seems like to me, everything the Wells touch just goes south. Like anyone that gets involved with them or close to them, bad things happen. Criminally, drama, like everywhere they go, they just create this big mess.
But
I
yeah,
don't know if you agree with that.
you can't expect people who behave like them to surround themselves with people who don't behave like them. You know, like the old saying, it's like, show me your friends and I'll show you your future or whatever. The people you surround yourself with it's very telling of who you are. You don't put yourself around people who bring you down or who aren't like you as far as, are negative or are bad people if you're a good person. So you're going to put yourself around people the way you behave or the way you think.
Well, two people that put themselves out there supporting them, Robin Lane, Sabbath Day school teacher, and Tim Mullen. What's your thoughts on Robin? Does Robin reach out to you at all, or do you guys ever talk?
No, I've seen she was at a the 1 year vigil she helped lead, and I saw more at least more early on her social media post of Summer, and it doesn't seem like there's any doubt that Summer loved her and there were pictures of them and looks like she had a great impact on her. I just don't understand her support of the Wells. I guess with at least with the questions in the air, you think you'd at least step back and question as somebody who
Maybe it's a Christian thing, maybe because she's religious.
right, and I mean there's always that, but if I'm a very religious person, very Christian person, I still find it very important to stand what's right and wrong. I mean, in the Bible it tells us what how God feels about people who hurt children, and so if somebody did hurt someone, whoever it was, God's very clear on how He feels about that.
She did speak on the 2-year anniversary to the media. They did a story on her, and they were trying to say her, they're trying to say her and other people that supported the Wells, were getting harassed for supporting the Wells. But she didn't really support. She didn't really, in that interview, my take of that interview was she wasn't really speaking positive about Don or Candace. It was all focused just on Summer and her memories of Summer.
Right, and that's how it should be. And I think she has kind of shifted that way. And I'm not saying she should go out of her way to talk bad about the parents. I just think she should hold, in my opinion, if I was in that position, I'd hold some line between, making sure I stood completely for Summer.
What about Tim Mullen? Why is this guy that seems like he didn't know them prior to this. So adamant about defending them and interjecting himself in this case on issues, when it comes to their children being taken away, their boys, just, interjecting themselves in their lives. Why does he do this?
That's the $1 million question. I don't understand. Tim's involvement has always been so weird to me. And involvement, I mean, not in Summer's disappearance, but just his interjection in the case. And I mean, at one point, I counted the posts on the Find Summer Wells page, and less than half had to do just with Summer, and that was just astounding to me because there's so many people out here who put out so much information about Summer, and here he is with a page with Summer's name on it, and just pushing whatever his agenda, Don's agenda. It's sad. I mean, it just
Like
makes.
what? What would he put? What would he put?
I mean, he shares things about how broken DCS is, implying, that the system is broken. That's why the boys were taken. And I mean, he posts just pictures of Don Wells. Just, I mean, just it's just so odd. And Tim one time told me that I was, basically said I was a suspect in the case.
Why would he say that?
It's a good question.
Is he doing this? I know that I've looked into his past a little bit. He's like a writer slash historian type of figure, and like talks about history in Kingsport. Does he want? Do you think he wants book deals or some sort of financial thing out of this?
I mean, you would think there's some end goal there with that. What it is, I'm not sure, but with his how just adamant he is, you would think there'd be some kind of end goal there for him.
Is the Wells still cool with him, or is he just going rogue and doing this stuff on his own?
I'm not sure. I mean, it seems that they they Don at least have been friends through this, but I'm not sure. I mean, at one point they went live together, things like that. But I don't know.
Well, interesting. So again, how does people find you, Trev? And if anyone wants to contribute and help in any way of your work in bringing awareness to summer, how can they reach you? What can they do?
You can reach me. There's an email on my channel. My email is just trevtime2023@gmail.com, and people can just reach me there. I'm very active in our Facebook group, Summer Wells Vanished in Tennessee. Just
Yeah,
letting.
that's a big group. That's probably the most in depth group. Not to cut you off, but that is like the most in depth group when it comes to summer wells. That's run by a great group of people that just put out anything and everything summer wells, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's great people who all care about summer and have cared since June 15th and continue to care and there's so much information there on the case and great discussions. It keeps Summer's name out engaging.
Yeah, there's like 20,000 in that group.
Yep.
It's a lot of people. A lot of people. Yeah, keep putting her photo out there, man. Getting people to bring awareness. Um, would you consider handing out flyers around Beach Creek?
I would. I mean, just everywhere. I've got the places now, but like I said, we're working on other places and we're not going to stop. So I'll just keep going everywhere until everybody knows who Summer Wells is and, the world doesn't forget.
You're an angel. Straight up, Trevor. You do great work, man, and I'm following you, and I'll keep my viewers, in tune to what's going on, informed of your work. Appreciate you coming on, man. Any final thoughts? Anything you like to say?
No, I appreciate you having me up and bringing awareness to this because, like I said, a lot of people have forgotten. But for everybody listening, just remember what matters in this case. It's Summer Wells. It's this girl right here in this picture. That's what matters.
Hold it up again, Trevor. Summer Wells. So remember that face, everyone. Her life mattered. Longest active Amber Alert in this country,
Mhm. She matters. She
Tennessee.
matters every day until she's found and justice is brought. Every day she matters.
And we still support the TBI and Hawkins County Sheriffs.
Absolutely, law enforcement is still working on this, and they're going to be the ones that bring a close to this, and we just have to do our part in keeping awareness out there during that time.
Trev, there's so many hearts. You see all the hearts and prayers, and a lot of people, support your work. Look at this. A lot of people are just,
Thank you.
hearts, and they really, really, people really appreciate what you're doing, Trev.
We're going to keep going every day.
All right. Be safe, brother. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Trevor. All right. So that was Trevor, everyone. Trevor Lee. left his Gmail and his he has well, he's on YouTube too. Go check him out. He's the go-to guy when it comes to Summer Wells because he is like, we'll call him an activist, right? He cares for Summer. He wants answers and he works his butt off, literally. Like he volunteer time. So check him out. I appreciate him coming on. And go check out that Summer Wells group on Facebook. 20,000 people, folks. If you want in depth, there's a lot of things going on in there. People that are from that community that are talking about firsthand on Don and Candace Wells. And if you want to share any information, please go. And appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching tonight. We had a good crowd on tonight, and it's getting dark here in Florida. We're gonna keep Summer's name out there. And I report on other cases, as you guys know, but always coming back to Summer and checking in once a month, a couple times a month. And I really do feel someone's gonna be held accountable soon. So stay blessed, everyone. JLR Investigates. We will talk later. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everyone. Be safe. Love your loved ones and lock your doors. Stay vigilant. Be responsible. It's a wonderful world out there, but it's also a wild world and some crazy stuff happen out there. So be safe. Bless you all.